All right. Happy Friday, everybody. How's it going? How's everybody week? I can't hear myself. There we go. Actually, I don't know why I need to hear myself. I don't need those on. How's everybody doing? Started a couple minutes early here. Thank God it's Friday. If you jump on, let me know you're out there in the old interweb lands. Like I said, I hope you're having a good week this week. Got a few things to talk about this week, but we're gonna give it a second here. Share this out. Like I said, let me know if you're out there. Say hello, don't be shy. Another busy week this week. And stay tuned, we'll have an announcement. We got another award. Heroes Media Group got another recognized for another award that we're excited about. I'll bring that up here in a little bit too. Maybe. If you're seeing this, share it out, and we're going to get started. Again, hello, welcome to Friday. This is your HMG Weekly Wrap Up. I am your host, Adam Bird, and it's great to be here this week. What do we have here? Brent from Ottawa, Canada. Thank you for tuning in, eh? Appreciate it. That's awesome. Thank you. Let go ahead and get started. Like I said, if you're jumping on, you see this, leave a comment. Let me know where you're at in the world. And if there's a question that you'd like to ask, by all means, put it in the comment section and I'll try to get to it. But we're going to go ahead and get started this week. Crazy week this week. Brent, Patriots inside the wire. Yes, Tracy, Gold Star mother. Very familiar with her, on HMG family member. Glad to have her on. Let's go ahead and get started with some of the topics that I found this week. Nothing really too exciting, although this one here. Doomsday fish found dead off the coast of Southern California. A group of kayakers earlier this week, kayakers and snorkelers earlier this week found or encountered a rare deep sea fish, which is drawing a lot of attention from marine scientists and conservationists. The discovery of it's called the oar fish, was made earlier in the week in an area out there called it's La Jolla Cove. It's just north of San Diego. And according to the NOAA, the oar fish is typically found in deep ocean waters where they are rarely ever seen by humans. Reports are that there have only been 20 sightings of the oar fish along California's coastline since 1901. Now, why do they call it the doomsday fish? We're going to get into that here in just a second. But the species is known for its long, slender body, which reaches a length of up to 36 feet long, which is about the size of a school bus. They call it a doomsday fish because I guess a lot of the time these are seen. I don't want to say quite a bit, but they're seen often in kind of catastrophic events like tsunamis and earthquakes and stuff like that over in the Far East, like Japan and that area. So, Ken, good morning. How are you, brother? Appreciate you jumping on as always, my friend. Yeah, doomsday fish. So, punchline to this is Arizona might have oceanside property here soon. No, nothing. Anybody? All right, I thought it was okay. Still too early. I got it. Next up, this one is this one's been rubbing a lot of veterans wrong. Thank you. Thank you, Anthony. I appreciate it. Thank you. Next up, Taliban holds parade showcasing military equipment left behind by the Biden administration. That was the headline. The Taliban recently held a military parade in Afghanistan showcasing the U.S. military equipment left behind following the withdrawal of American forces in August of 2021. And it's kind of hard to believe that it's been 3 years already. Taliban members and leaders celebrated 3 years since their return to power, thanks to the Biden administration's planned withdrawal from the region, says American Faith News. The parade, which took place at Bagram Airfield, once a major U.S. military base, featured Taliban fighters marching alongside abandoned American vehicles, aircraft, Humvees, tanks, etc., all originally supplied to the Afghan government forces, were prominently displayed. That's frustrating. And don't quote me. I don't have an exact number, but I do believe that the Taliban is getting literally millions of dollars a day from the U.S. government as well. To what I've heard, I feel bad. I never, I wasn't in the Afghan theater. I know I have a lot of friends that were. That whole debacle in 2021, it's frustrating. I feel for my fellow brothers and sisters that had spent any time in the dirt over there. Frustrating. Here's one that's this different. This next topic is different, and I found it very interesting. Court rules geofence warrants unconstitutional. Does anybody know what geofencing is? This is really starting to get used the last several years in marketing and stuff as well. But the court rules that geofence warrants violate the Fourth Amendment, according to a 3-judge panel of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit. Circuit Judge Carolyn Dean King wrote in the discussion that geofence warrants are modern day general warrants and are unconstitutional under the Fourth Amendment. Of particular concern is the fact that geofence will retroactively track anyone within a location history enabled, regardless of whether a particular individual is suspicious or moving within an area that is typically granted Fourth Amendment protection. King added, the geofence warrants allows authorities to obtain a list of phones and phone owners who were present near a crime scene at any given particular time. So basically what they're saying is that they can go in, they're not finding witnesses or whatnot. They can geofence that area and capture everybody that was in that area and then go either do a warrant or go talk to those people, etc. Heather, good morning to you. According to the National Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers, geofence warrants are a, quote, type of reverse warrant where the government seeks to know who was within a geofence and defined physical area during a specific period of time. Some have voted that geofence warrants violate digital privacy, while others say the practice is constitutional as the internet users agree to share their location history with Google. That was that last line that really kind of rubbed me the wrong way. What are your thoughts on geo-targeting and geofencing on this? I've seen it used at sporting events where you do something and like everybody what's in that area will get popped up like, hey, they're having a special at Tunnel 3 at this food concession, or make sure you check out the sports shop before you leave. You get like pings and reminders when you go to like sporting events. I've seen that done with the geofencing. These warrants, however, um, I think there's a pros and cons to it. It's one of those things, but where do you draw the line on something like this? Law enforcement, you have you roll up on a crime scene, nobody's talking. You can collect the information, find out who was in the area, and then talk to those people, hopefully solve the crime, right? Good thing. The problem with that is, with the positive, there's always a negative. Abuse of power, et cetera, et cetera. I won't get into that. We all know it because we've all thought it. Um, internet users agree to share their location history with Google. Google has rubbed me the wrong way recently. I'm going to go off on a tangent here just a little bit because, and I'm sure I'm going to get. I know they're listening, and that's fine. I don't give a crap. I've had, you get these subscriptions, and every now and then they want to you get an updated subscription or whatnot. For years, I've never had an issue, and then all of a sudden, I said something about a month or two ago, and now they want facial recognitions, they want my ID, they want personal information, a lot of personal information, and all this other stuff. I said no, I'll take my business elsewhere. I shut down a lot of the Google subscriptions that I had. There wasn't many. I'm not, like two, but I shut them down and moved my business elsewhere. I don't think. And here's the thing: we walk around again with these pocket computers. You guys have heard me say this time and time again. And people want to talk about, well, it's they're invading our privacy rights. Ever since these were made, your privacy is gone. You ever thought why it's weird when you talk about, oh, I'd like some bratwurst this weekend, and you're driving home, and then all of a sudden when you get home 30 minutes later, you get an ad for Johnsonville's bratwurst or something like that pops up on your phone or in your feed on social media, or you see an advertisement for it. They're listening. They can hear what we're talking about. And we're ignorant to think that they're not. Some of us are, and I know some of you thinking, oh, you conspiracy theory. Why are they going to listen to all of us? Why do you think? That's how they make money. That's one way that they make money is everybody listens. That's why you got to protect yourselves. But that's for a different day. We'll get into that one next week, maybe. Question for all of you out there. Next one. Question for all of you. Elon Musk. This is just something I was thinking of this morning. Elon Musk, friend or foe? What are your guys' thoughts? I want to sit on this one for a minute. I got a couple of you on live right now. Leave me a comment. Elon Musk, is he a friend or a foe? I want your guys' opinion on this, please. I think it's interesting. And while you guys are leaving a comment here on this, Elon Musk, friend or foe? And then tell me why you think he's one or the other. He's definitely stepped up to the bat here in the United States about, wanting to give people free speech, right? Awesome. He's done a fantastic job kind of going against some of the powers to be and whatnot. You see him kind of fighting back and leading the charge in that aspect of things. All right. I can see that. Ken, what do we have here? The enemy of the enemy is, yeah. Here's the thing. So again, he's one for free speech. He pushes that, and that's great. The faux side of it, I could see is, he what is he doing with Tesla? A couple things. The robotics side of Tesla, all this AI robotics stuff, I feel like that you haven't seen a lot of it as much in the news lately. Don't drop on me, guys. Come on, leave comments here. Share this. Elon Musk, friend or foe? And I'm really curious on this. I think it's great what he's doing in regards to uh, the free speech. At the same time, all the robots and everything like that, like you know, is it too much? You know, they're wanting to replace truck drivers and have these automated self-driving trucks that can deliver here and there and so forth. And I get it. And then you have these actual full-blown robots and AI systems that are walking around like humanoids that they're making. Is this the is are we coming up on the end? And I don't mean to sound like it's being catastrophic or anything like that, but friend or foe, what is he? I think it's interesting. I think he playing both sides very closely. Or maybe I'm off. If I'm off, tell me. If you guys think I'm off in this topic, let me be clear. Then tell me. Elon Musk, friend or foe? Leave your comments below, please. I really want to know. Um, two more headlines here, real quick. The one of my favorite organizations to talk about. Oh, before we do, let me see here. Brent, opinion. I'd be curious to because he endorsed Donald Trump. That's some people like Donald Trump. Not everybody does. Some people do, but you're entitled to your opinion. Thank you for your comment. Ken, I think he's is tired of the political elite and wants to make a difference. I firmly believe that he wants to make a difference. I do believe that, Ken. I think maybe I'm just too focused on the robotic side of it and the unknown. Uh, we have to evolve. I understand that, but at the same time, it's like where do you draw the line uh, with machines and technology? I guess that's really the question. So thank you for that comment, Ken. Appreciate it. Next, again, one of my favorite organizations to talk about, and I say that with as much sarcasm as I possibly can. World Health Organization declares a global emergency over a new monkeypox outbreak. This was on Wednesday. Yeah. Yeah, monkeypox. That's the next one. It's been happening in the Congo, and I guess now it's spreading. Huh. I didn't bother looking this much up just because the WHO and you guys that have watched me for a while know my um, feelings on the World Health Organization and the World Economic Forum. You want to talk about scums of the earth, in my opinion, which I'm entitled. So, moving on. Next one. Here's a fun one. This is probably really the only political one that I picked this week. Democrat vice presidential candidate Tim Walz supports young children receiving transgender care. Now, this was coming out of, I think I got this from American Faith. And there was a clip from 2017 that resurfaced. I think it was on Tuesday or Wednesday of this week, revealing Democratic Governor Tim Walz talking openly about young children receiving transgender care and using any bathroom of their choice. Now, I know this is going to go sideways, and I'm okay with that right now, but and be respectful in the comments to each other if you don't agree. But Walz also signed into law last year that changed the definition of sexual orientation. The guy running for vice president right now changed the definition of sexual orientation. The new definition under the Take Pride Act included pedophiles in the state's Human Rights Act. And to be clear, this is the state of Minnesota. Just so we're clear on it. State of Minnesota, they changed it under their Take Pride Act, under the state's Human Rights Act. They changed the definition to include pedophiles. The old version of the law explicitly did not include pedophiles as a protected sexual orientation, end quote. Sexual orientation does not include a physical or sexual attachment to children by an adult. The law previously read. That's the old law. Uh, as of May of 2023, Minnesota defines sexual orientation as whom someone is or is perceived of being emotionally, physically, sexually attracted to based on sex or gender identity. A person may be attracted to men, women, both, neither, or people who have genderqueer other gender identities. There was a transgender representative, Leah Fink, introduced the bill last year. Fink told Fox News that the bill updates outdated language that incorrectly ties pedophilia to a person's sexual orientation. Ken, one could argue that. Here's the other thing with Tim Walz, and I may have mentioned this a little bit last week, and this isn't. I'm not defending anybody, and I'm not chastising anybody on this. There's been a lot of like stolen valor. You see the hat going around. I get that. Great article that came out last week by Task and Purpose. Shout out to the people over at Task and Purpose. Great organization. Talking about it could have been just a hat, maybe a gift, whatnot. But we want to jump on. And again, I'm not saying it was. I'm not saying it was just a hat. I'm not saying he was identifying it. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying there was something about him saying he was a sergeant major, and I'm under the impression, at least what I've read is, he went to sergeant major school, graduated, or completed the sergeant major academy, but then retired before. I think it's 2 years, maybe 3 years once you're promoted to that next level. He was coming on time, so he would have had to stay in or reenlist for another 3 years to retire as a sergeant major. He retired as a master sergeant. That's not uncommon in the Guard or reserves. Again, and I'm not saying that's the case, but a lot of the different stories that I'm seeing, I'm like, well, wait a minute. If he completed the sergeant major academy, understand that. And if he's walking around saying that he retired as a sergeant major, big no, because he didn't retire as a sergeant major. He retired as a master sergeant. Was he a sergeant major while he was in? It sounds to me that he was, but that's not what he retired as, because he did not complete the 2-3 years that would require him to have to retire as the sergeant major status. That was my understanding of it. What are your guys' thoughts on that, if any? I know we're getting shadow banned because of some of the topics previously. So those of you that watch this, please share this and leave a comment. Shout out to From the Farm. Go to fromthefarm.org. Find a local farmer, a local rancher, buy your meat from, whether it's beef, pork, chicken. Shop locally. Get with you. Sometimes you pay a little bit more, but if you buy it in bulk, like we do, you save more money in the long run. My friend AJ Richards, founder from the farm.org. Go check it out. Next week, DC peeps. How many people out there that watch this are going to be in DC next week? I'm going to be Monday through Thursday. I will be in our nation's capital. Podcast Movement is next week. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody down in DC next week for Podcast Movement. We're going to be walking around, rubbing elbows with more podcasters and big companies there. So I'm looking forward to that. Ken, what do we have here? Dipping my toe in the ocean doesn't mean... Ken, I gotta put this one up there because that's just funny. Dipping my toes in the ocean does not make me a fish. So, all right, that's fair enough. That's a good one. So podcast movement next week. Make sure if you're going to be in DC, hit us up. Let me know. Love to meet up with you. I got some open slots still available for one-on-one meetups. Next month, Team Addo event, their Heroes Ball and their Heroes Fishing Tournament, September 20th and 21st, Tampa, Florida. If you're interested in going, go to Team Addo. That's teamaddo.org and get your tickets. Meet me down there. I'll be down there next month in Tampa, Florida, and I'm looking forward to that. Always a good time. Let's get into the shows. Let's get into the shows. We got a couple of new shows on the network, as I mentioned last week, the JMac and the Strategic Veteran. So let's get started. Let me blow this up so I can read this here. Getting old. First up, we got the JMac podcast. This week, Dallas Knight is the guest. An extraordinary Army combat veteran who transformed her battlefield experience into a relentless fight against human trafficking. She's a mental health advocate, author, speaker, a mama. She shares her journey from the front lines to becoming a beacon of hope for those in need. They talk about her work as a podcaster as well as her advocacy for mental health and the profound impact she has with her writings. Go check it out. It's called the JMac podcast. Again, real quick, you can see all of these shows by going to heroesmediagroup.com. Click on podcast. It'll give you a list of all the shows, and you can connect with those shows from their show page right there as well. Next up, we got the Strategic Veteran. This week, John A. Daly, a U.S. Retired Marine, Master Sergeant, whose remarkable career spans over 21 years. John's journey is a testament of resilience, leadership, deep committed to service. From an accidental assignment to a sniper platoon to among being one of the first boots on the ground in Afghanistan after 9/11. He shares his journey of military service and then talks about transitioning into civilian life, going on to help others lead better lives themselves. Check it out. It's the Strategic Veteran podcast. Next up, we got Homefront Sit Rep podcast. This week, they had our man Scotty Hastings, singer, songwriter. It's got a new title out called I'm America. You can go check that out. I believe they play it on this week's show. Homefront Sit Rep, they do a couple of shows each week, so go check it out. They do it live from their Facebook page, and they also do it live right here on the Heroes Media Group social media platform. So check it out. It's called Homefront Sit Rep Podcast. Next up, we got the Professional Rule Breaker. This week, Brandon Gano, an entrepreneur who turned his frustrations into a thriving business. Now, him and his partner of What If, they're all about helping small businesses grow fast. In this episode, Brandon spills the beans on the magic of clarity in business growth and the importance of building confidence in your game plan. Check it out. It's the Professional Rule Breaker. Next up, we got the Senior Living Guide, seniorlivingguide.com. This week, Michelle Connor to discuss vital travel tips and safety measures for women and seniors. She's an expert with Travel Advisors Unlimited, shares advice on preventing bag theft, staying healthy on the go, and navigating international travel challenges, meaning how to properly pack and ensuring that your debit and credit cards work abroad. Great conversation, this one. Check it out. It's called seniorlivingguide.com. Next up, we got Patriots Inside the Wire. This week, U.S. Navy veteran singer-songwriter and combat trauma recovery advocate Brooks Herring joins the show. I believe she was just out at an event in Nashville and met with Brooks and a bunch of other friends of ours, Malachias, or a.k.a. Doc. Check it out. It's this week's Patriots Inside the Wire. Next up, we got Bump in the Road. This episode, Dave Tabler, he's a historian, author, and photographer from Dover, Delaware. He was diagnosed with prostate cancer, and while the prognosis was good, complications from the surgery brought him to the brink of death. He shares his experience in this episode and talks about, excuse me, instead of seeing a white light or hovering above his body, he found himself in a glowing, star filled space accompanied by a loving presence. He describes all of this and what he's done since. It's a metaphor for the cycles of karma and sin. This was a pretty interesting episode. Check it out. It's called Bump in the Road. I don't know why I keep looking over here. The screen's in front of me. Next up, we got the Arms Room Show. This week, they're discussing the bare minimum everyday carry kits and why staging is a required process. I love this. I've used what they have done, and before I leave, if I'm leaving the house or whatnot, I make sure I have my EDC kit ready to go. Usually, it's a flashlight, blade, firearm, whatnot. Then I also got some medical stuff in the cars, not necessarily on me, although you should. But this is a great episode this week. Check it out, the Arms Room Show. You're going to learn a lot. Next up, we got the Misfit Nation podcast. They do a show a couple times a week as well. Yesterday's episode, Francesca Amante, with over 20 years of competitive figure skating and dance experience with Skate Canada, Francesca has seamlessly transitioned into a remarkable entrepreneur, public speaker, coach, and author. She is the visionary behind Amante Conferences and Talks. She has captivated audiences on more than 50 different stages, sharing her insights and passion for personal and professional growth. This is a pretty cool episode as well. Check it out. It's called the Misfit Nation podcast. Next up, we got your 6 at 6 with our friends from the People's Patriot Project. This past week, they do a show every Sunday night, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, live on social media. This past Sunday, they had Jimmy Mortran, a first responder in the vast county of Hedspeth in Texas, and Don Course Music. Good songs there. This weekend, this Sunday coming up, they have Diana Hazel Rodriguez, and she'll share her story of service and life coming out of service, all from the female perspective. She's also an advocate and peer specialist in addition to many other titles. So stay tuned for that. It's called the People's Patriot Project. Go check it out. Next up, we got Other Side of the Firewall. This week, the host discussed an article about cybersecurity researcher who befriended and then exposed the leader of the ransomware gang. You're seeing a lot of cybersecurity stuff pop up, I think, more lately, and you're going to get more and more of it, especially when it comes to our stuff. What happened earlier this week? I just thought of this. The Social Security thing. Somebody came out. There was a post about your Social Security identity might have been stolen, right? They also discussed the risk and implications of such actions, as well as the differences between, cybersecurity researchers and reporters in the terms of their own objectives and responsibilities. This is a really cool show. They do a show Monday through Friday. They're very consumable, and you're going to learn a lot, especially in the world that we're in right now with all this IT stuff. This is a show that everybody should be listening to. Check it out. Every Man's Odyssey. Go check it out. They got some new stuff coming up. So stay tuned for that. Next up, we got the Joel Evans Show. This was a cool one as well. Joel's good dude. Overcoming mold toxicity and testicular cancer. I don't know why I can't say that word. With sound therapy. This was really, really cool. Some of the therapies that they did here. He had the pleasure of sitting down with health expert Freddie Kimmel, who shares his incredible journey from battling chronic illness to thriving with the help of different therapies, primarily sound therapies. How amp coil, a PEMF and sound therapy device, supports the body's natural healing process. It's one of the things that you're going to discover in this episode. And I found it absolutely fascinating. He also talks about his personal transformation and recovery experiences, including overcoming black mold exposure. And that's something else. I don't know if it's just something that's popping up in my feed, but these sound therapies, like there's a lot to this. Always has been. I know it's been there. Something I think we definitely need to explore more of. So check it out. It's called The Joel Evans Show. Next up, we have, quite frankly, probably the busiest female in the podcasting world, Deanna Radulescu, Label Free Podcast. This week, she talks with Paul DeGenler, a former elite soldier, shark attack survivor, author, motivational speaker, and former Navy diver. He's also the host of Discovery Channel's Shark Week. Paul shares the experience of being attacked by a shark in the Sydney Harbor, describing the shark's reaction and how he overcame his fear to continue diving with sharks today. He discusses the importance of Shark Week and educating and dispelling myths about shark, highlighting his favorite moments from the show and upcoming adventures this coming year. Paul also talks about his journey of resilience and facing his fears, turning his greatest fears into a career as a shark diving public speaker. This is really cool. Really cool story. Great interview. Label Free Podcast. Check it out. Pushing Back Chaos. The boys are back. Mike and Melon comb through a season of leadership using a lot of personal experiences in this one. They equate the seasons to those of the world: spring, summer, autumn, winter. They break down each, describe their characteristics of how they assimilate to your position. They discuss the flags that happen for you to realize to change or a change is needed to take place. Great episode this week. Paul and Melon, or excuse me, Melon and Mike are back. And although everyone's timeline is different, this is what I really like. Everyone's timeline is different and unique. It is healthy to have a good reference to utilize when trying to identify your purpose as a leader as you move through your career and with your family. It's awesome. Check it out. Pushing Back Chaos. Next up, we got Because Bikers Matter podcast. Host David, aka Vegas Schumann, visits Sturgis. Like it's that time of year, right? Sturgis. He was in Sturgis, and he went to visit the Sturgis Voluntary Fire and EMS Department during the Sturgis rally. Shauna, a guest from the department, shares insights into operations of the volunteer fire department, which sees a significant increase in calls during the rally period. It was really cool to kind of he really does a behind the scenes thing with our community heroes up there in Sturgis, especially during rally week up there. That town is like 2,500 people, I think, on any given day. And then when the rally comes, it goes up to close to 750,000 people in and out of there for the week. I'm sure those numbers have changed quite a bit. I mean, the last time I was in Sturgis was like 2005, 2006 timeframe, somewhere in there. It's amazing. Great episode. Because Bikers Matter podcast. Check it out. Excuse me. Next up, MSEC Podcast, Military Child Education Coalition, great organization for our military families. If you have children that are in school, you should be following the militarychild.org. This week, Scott Acree, Vice President of Field Operations at Operation Homefront, discusses their mission to build strong, stable, and secure military families. They provide a relief of recurring family support programs, including events like Back to School Brigade, holiday meals for military, and Star Spangled Babies. Operation Homefront is truly focused on helping military families not just to survive, but to thrive. Pretty cool episode this week. MSEC Podcast. Check it out. We love our MSEC family over there. Next up, we got Chasing Happiness. This week, Ben Afua, a master in healing emotional and physical wounds. Ben is a true seeker who has journeyed from Native American vision quests to the heart of ancient practices. Some of the things that you're going to learn this week: ancient wisdom unleashed. Learn how traditional Native American practices like vision quests can unlock profound healing, and then breaking free from digital distractions, something that we all need to do. Let's be honest. Find out why disconnecting from technology might be the key to reconnecting with yourself. I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. Technology is very convenient, and it's a lot of great things that we get to learn because of it. However, just like anything else, we need to unplug from it as well. Case in point, that's why I took 3 weeks off from doing the show, because I unplugged, and it was great. Sponsors, let me give some shout outs here real quick. HMG Beverage, go to hmgbeverage.com or hmgcoffee.com. Get some coffee today. We brew it, send it to you. We priority mail it, so you'll have it fresh within 2-3 days. My tax fella, Anthony, was on here earlier. Best in the business. If you need bookkeeping, or you need help with your taxes, or you want to come up with a game plan for your business financially, My Tax Fella is the place to go. Go to mytaxfella.com, set up an appointment today. He's got an amazing staff over there. We've been working with them now for the last 8 years. Any money questions, he's the guy that I go to. Go check him out, mytaxfella.com. Forget Genetics. Hunting season's right around the corner. Hunters, go check out Forget Genetics. Get your products. Use promo code HMG. You're going to get 10% off at checkout. You'll be happy that you did. ForgetGenetics.com. Motorcycle Safety Lawyers. Motorcycle Safety Lawyers. If you have a motorcycle, these guys should be on your speed dial. Go check them out. Home Studio Mastery with our man Junaid, who I'm going to see next week. If you're a podcaster or looking to get into podcast, you want to set up your home studio, go to homestudiomastery.com. Go check it out. The Freedom People, set up your trust today. Thank you, Freedom People, for everything that you do. Sisu Stamina. I love it. It's like a vitamin that keeps me going second half of the day. Go to ulauniverse.com and orders yours today. Jim Neary's Bait and Tackle and Warriors on the Water LTD. Two great organizations. Love these guys. They kept me fishing all summer long. Jim is a great friend, big supporter of the network. If you're in Southern Pennsylvania and you want to go fishing and want to have fun, reach out to Jim Neary's Bait and Tackle, live bait and tackle. He will hook you up. JB Auto Clothiers. It's hot out. That's why I'm not wearing my jacket right now, but you will see pictures next week. Go suiting up anybody. You want a new sport coat, you want a new suit, maybe a tuxedo for an event coming up, go to JB Auto Clothiers. Hit us up on social media on our IG page and check us out. Let us know, and we'll get you hooked up. Veterans PCS. Go check them out. One of the newer ones as well. Thank you very much to our network sponsors. Guys, let's have a great weekend this weekend. Next week, we'll be back here. I'll probably do some live stuff briefly early next week while I'm at Podcast Movement. Stay tuned for that. And again, if you're going to be in the DC area next week and you'd love to meet, I'd love to meet up. I love meeting up with people. DM me, whether it's on the social media platforms, or you can email me, adam@heroesmediagrp.com. Let's get together next week if you're going to be in the DC area. This weekend, make sure you unplug, shut the phone off, take the phone, shut it off, forget about it for like 2 hours, go outside, do something constructive, clean a room, whatever. Just get off the internet, get off your phone. Spend time with your family, your loved ones, or just go take a walk, get out in nature. All right. Protect this up here. Appreciate all of you that jumped on this week, left comments. Those of you that watch this later on, thank you. Leave a comment, share this. If you got something that you want us to talk about, please DM us. I think either next week or the week after, we're going to start having more guests come back on now that we're back in studios more here for the next month or so. So stand by for that. More to come. Until next week, God bless you. God bless America. Appreciate you guys. Have a good weekend.